So as noted in the thread, I think that Andy's correct in that the ellipse, the roof form is actually composed of at least 3 different arc segments as opposed to being a single ellipse, and I think you can see evidence of that when you use the ellipse command to lay in this magenta line here, how it's a little bit flat and inset from the drawing curve for the roof. So I think it's actually pretty typical to do it out of arc segments instead, so I figured I'd do a video showing how that works. Again, this is AutoCAD. I presume there are similar functions in QCAD, but as far as process goes, it's probably pretty much the same. So in the first case, I would start out by using a 3-point circle command, and you can use circle or arc. I like to use circle. That way I don't have to worry as much about point selection order in terms of like start, center, and end, and I don't have to worry about direction of the arc. And then in the end, I just come in and trim up all the extra pieces that I don't need. So I'll start out with a 3-point circle, and I'll pick the center, the midpoint of the arc here, much in the same way that we did for the car sides in the previous video. And then I'll pick a second point somewhere out here on the original drawing, and I'll do the same thing on this side. And I'm not worried about symmetry here or anything like that. All I'm trying to do is get a rough idea of what the radius of this curve is. So I've got it laid in, and then I'll list it. You can see a radius here of 48.06673 millimeters, etc. Obviously, we'd like to get that down to a round number. So I previously tried this already and came up with a figure, an arc of radius, let's see, 47.3. So I'm going to go ahead and use that just because I already have it done. But so what I'll do is I'll erase the one I sketched in, and I'll come in and I'll draw another circle. Radius 47.3 millimeters. You can see that's not positioned correctly, but if I just take it and move it down by 47.3 millimeters, it's now in position with the quadrant point here at the top of the circle is passing through this intersection here at the top of the roof, and it's tangent at that point. Okay. The second step is then to come over to the side here and do the same type of operation. So I'm going to do a 3-point circle. I'll pick this point here, and I'll pick a second point. I'm going to try and sort of stay off of the pink ellipse line, so I'm going to go a little bit outside of it, and then I'll come up here on the original drawing line again. Okay, and I get a circle that's approximately laid over the original drawing. I'll list that radius. That comes out to 5.27. You can see that there's a lot of variety, just how your eye picks up the line and stuff, and how finicky it can be when you do a 3-point curve, picking points on a trace like this. I've got this one I previously built at 4.4 millimeters. So I'm going to go back in and adjust my sketched circle here to 4.4. So I'll do the same thing. Come in, draw a circle, 4.4 millimeters. It's out of position. I'll move it over now by 4.4. And again, like the top side of the roof there, I now have a circle that passes through this point here, which is the transition from the roof to the car side, and it's also tangent at this point. Okay, so that's circle number 2. And then the last thing I need to do is I need to lay in a circular arc that transitions from one curve to the other. So to do this, again, I'm going to go back to the 3-point circle. But rather than pick a specific point, I'm going to use the tangent snap. And you can see the little symbol there as I hover over that circle. I'll pick a point on the original drawing trace, and then I'll pick my last point as tangent to the large circle. And there I've laid in the third circle. Now I'll do the same thing here. So you can see it's a 2-step process for each curve. I'll lay in a sketch to get a general sense of the, back up here a second. I'll lay in a sketched curve just to get a general sense of the radius, and then I'll come back and dial it into something that's a nice round number. So this one's coming up at 14.3. The one I originally sketched here in red comes up at 13.75. So they're pretty close. So this time I'll erase out the one I just drew, the sketch, and I'll do another circle, but instead of doing a 3-point, I'm going to do a tangent radius function, which is TTR in CAD, and I'll come in and I'll pick a tangent point, again, the second tangent point, and then I'll specify radius. And so in this case, I'm going to be 13.75 millimeters, and it'll lay the circle in there in between the two other curves. Okay, so now at this point, you've got three circles, and it's just a matter of trimming them out to get what you need, the result. But you've got the small curve is tangent on the car side, where it meets the car side at the top edge there. The large circle is tangent to the top of the roof, a line across the top of the roof there. And your third circle just transitions between the two smoothly. So I've come over here and I basically kind of cleaned things up a little bit and gave them some weight so they're more visible. Obviously small circle in orange, the medium one in red, and the large circle in green. And you're going to mirror the two smaller circles about the center line of the drawing, and you'll end up, when you trim it all out, you'll end up with something like this. And you'll see that here, like the place where we really missed on the original sketch with the magenta ellipse, we were well inside of the drawing line in this area where the axes are showing up here. And you can see that doing it with 3 separate arc segments instead of a single ellipse, that were much more in line with the position of the original drawing that we're tracing. So but again, I'll go back real quick to the point of when you're laying in a 3-point circle or arc over a drawing like this, that the quality of the hand-drawn drawings that a lot of times we're working from, as opposed to digital formats, there's a lot of pixelation and so on when you come in, and you can get a lot of variety in your sort of sketched circles just by picking 3 points along any of these arcs, and it's just the vagaries of the line width and things like that. So the idea is to do a sketch to get a general idea of the radius, and then to come back in and redraw it with a specific rounded radius as a nice round number. So that's it. You're going to end up with a curve basically looking like this, and then obviously the blue lines here on the sides are going to be the car sides, and we would trim those off using the roofline curve. Now you'd have something to that effect there. So hope that helps, and any questions, feel free to ask.